Hey YouTube, this is Marcus with another video. I just wanted to take this opportunity to give an overview of the Cobra 29 LX Citizens Band radio, since I've got one on my table for the night. This is the latest digital offering from Cobra. If you want a digital radio from Cobra, this is the best one you're going to get. It's a regular AM only 40 channel Citizens Band radio. It does not have single sideband. This particular one is the RealTree Camo Edition. It's the same radio on the inside. They just it's just that the body and the stock mic that comes with it is covered in the RealTree, the RealTree camouflage pattern. It's got all the for those of you who are not familiar with the Cobra 29 LX, let me go over the front here. You've got a standard 4-pin Cobra mic plug. You've got power and volume on the inside and squelch. One side note, I hate this knob. This volume knob is super tiny compared to on my 148 here, the flat. It's a lot easier to get a hold of. This one's kind of rounded with a nub down here, and it's hard to get a hold of. It's not even rubberized, and it seems to want to turn the squelch knob with it. See that? So, not a fan of that knob, but you should be able to pull that off and replace it. Dynamite, channel selector, and menu button. It depresses to bring up your menu. RF gain, delta tune, talkback, and standing wave calibration knob. Channel scan, CB weather band or PA selector, dim selector, instant channel 9 and 19, noise blanker, and toggles between standing wave, calibration, or SRF, what your meter gives you here. There we go. Cal. There we go. And on the back, it's just like any other Cobra 29. Standard 3-pin power cord. There we go. SO239 for your coax. External speaker and PA jack. Now the biggest change about it is, besides the fact that it no longer uses the chromed knobs, is this digital interface. You can see here most of your information is going to be displayed on this screen here. You've even got a frequency counter. You've got a clock up here if you set it, and there's also a built-in alarm clock. So if you're a truck driver and you've got one of these in your rig, you don't have to have a separate alarm clock as long as your CB radio keeps power. So as you can see here, it is not wired for accessory power. There's nothing on the middle pin here. So if you want the clock to keep time, you need to run the positive wire to a fuse that keeps electricity while the engine is running, or run it directly to your battery, like I have in my vehicle. Because if you have it set on a fuse or a circuit that loses electricity when you kill the engine, then you're going to lose your settings. It won't save the time or your alarm clock settings or things of that nature. So you see there, the time is set. Well, 02:14 a.m. Alright, I'll turn the radio off. Kill the power supply. Let it power down. Power supply back on. But anyway, let's turn the radio on. You see the clock is no longer displayed because it lost time. So if you want it to keep time, run it straight to the battery. Let's get into the menu here. You set your clock, alarm clock. It's got like a timer countdown feature. This just turns the ketones on and off. See? And now we no longer have ketones. It's turning back on. Weather band alert. If there's a severe weather alert that comes across one of the weather bands in your area, you can set the CB to automatically kick over to that weather band so that you can listen to the alert. Change your display color. We're on the blue right now because it shows up the best on this camera. But you've also got green. It's kind of hard to show that color on camera. but red, amber, and back to the blue. You've got your brightness. Now, this is different than the dim button over here. You have two brightness settings. You've got day and night. You set your day brightness and your nighttime brightness, and then when you push the dim button, it just bounces back and forth between the day and night settings. And you set your contrast. You do some radio checks. The second test just skips the first test. If you hit first test, it does all of them. So you just click on first test, battery voltage OK. Next, push to talk to check power output. Our power output pass. Push to talk to check antenna. Antenna pass. And back to there. It does have an antenna warning. If your standing wave is, I think it's 2.5-ish. I don't know exactly what they set it for. But if your standing wave ratio is dangerously high, it will say antenna warning. It'll actually print it out here on the screen instead of having its own little light. Get your RX and TX indicator, says transmitting over there. You've got a digital signal meter here. There's nothing going on at the moment because it's the dead of night. Skips died down. So that's basically the Cobra 29 LX. It does have a 4-watt carrier. The modulation is not quite, it doesn't swing quite as high with modulation as my Cobra 148 does out of the factory. So it's not quite up to 100% modulation. It does sound fine. It sounds good. And if you would like, you can take it to a reputable CB shop and have them adjust it so that it could adjust it up to 100% modulation, and you'll stay legal, and it will make it sound just a little bit louder. Just be careful who you take it to. Make sure it's somebody reputable, somebody preferably licensed to work on Cobra radios, because there is a certification process, and not somebody who's going to try to sell you everything in the world that you didn't ask for. The weather band, at least here, seems to work pretty good.
Cloudy with a 50% chance. Mostly cloudy with a 40% showers and thunderstorms. Highs in the lower 80s.
So, yeah, that's basically the Cobra 29 LX. Like I said, if you want a digital radio from Cobra, this is the best one you're going to get. They do not have a single sideband digital radio to compete with the Uniden Bearcat 980 single sideband. So if you like single sideband, like I do, but you want a digital radio, you're going to have to go with the Uniden Bearcat 980, or if you really want a Cobra one, go bug the crap out of them and see if they'll consider making one. Because if they're selling these, maybe they'll start making a 148 LX, I guess. If you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, or suggestions, post them below. If you want to know anything additional about the nitty-gritty details of this radio, feel free to ask in the comment section, and if I don't know the answer, I will try to point you in the direction of somebody who can answer the question. So, yeah, y'all have a good one.